your arriving at your destination is the point, and you need to say, Father, I am moving toward this destination because it's appropriate, not because I think I should go there. And so what fits at this point in the overall picture of our arriving at our destination? So now it has nothing to do with who's right or wrong, or whose preferences should be honored, and whether you're in your period or whether you're just in a crotchety frame of mind. It has nothing to do with all of these side issues that have an impact on your decisions. Okay? You say, Father, what fits in the larger picture, in spite of us, regardless of us? You see what I'm saying? Now it moves out of who into what fits into the divine movement that you're a part of. Not that you're the author of, but that you're a part of. Because you want to know where to be in harmony with the movement of creation. That is what's really going on. It really isn't Mark and Donna traveling and having the options to fight over how to get there. You see?
I understand.
So don't do this peace thing where you become numb and you leave all the ego dynamics in place and you still ignore God. You still never ask. Be alert to this tendency that you said you have to think, well, we're God. Because as long as you think that, you'll never say help.
Not as a consistent
You'll just
thing.
try to be God figuring everything out divinely. You see what I'm saying?
I do.
And you're still in a state of isolation. You're still reinforcing your separation from God. You're still not experiencing the connection, and therefore you're not experiencing the communion that awaits you. It's the Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom. But as long as you're saying, well, I'm God, and you never connect with God, how can the gift be received?
And I thought about how Paul and you communicate with each other, and I'm seeing now that's how I need to do it too. That's how it works. So I've been thinking about meditating and spending, I did one night, not last night, night before, 1 hour. I stayed up and I just kept abiding with God for like an hour's time. And I know that that's how the habits then become experiential with with my relationship with God. So then I know how then I always ask instead of asking, I know the principle. We're supposed to be peaceful. We shouldn't argue. So, yeah, you've been a real good example to me to show me how to communicate with God, Paul. Thank you. Thank you, Jesus.
You're welcome.
Is there a way to get the bowl attached to the microphone?
Get the what?
The
bowl.
donation bowl attached to the microphone?
No, but your feet are attached to your legs, to your knees, to your hips, to your shoulders, to your brain, and you have the capacity to walk to that bowl. Anytime and as many times as you feel impelled to do it. And it will not disturb me at all.
Well, I was just identifying so well with the discussion that I had a question. What if in listening we both come up with different answers that God has given us?
It's very simple.
Who's right?
It's very simple. Listen again.
Okay, I think it's the hearing of it, and I'm like Donna, I go to my peace because that's the only where I can get clarity, and I haven't been hearing lately, and I'm a little bit more than a little willing, So I would ask that maybe possibly you might talk about how can we hear, having just come out and identified that we need to ask for some help here right now. And from that state of being, asking, but how do we receive it without being in our peace and getting back to our peace like Donna was trying to do? So,
Well, first of all, Donna, I was not meaning that choosing for your peace is inappropriate. Choosing for your peace so that you can ignore is what's inappropriate. The reason for choosing for your peace is so that you can listen and in the silence hear, where your voice and your mind aren't chattering so loudly that you can't hear the guidance. The moment the two of you recognize that you're in a state of argumentativeness, and then you realize that the answer is to ask for guidance so that you might know what fits the Father's plan instead of yours, you immediately weaken the strength of the dilemma of who is right or wrong. Because who is right or wrong is not as important as knowing what the Father's will is and what will bless the manifestation of the Father's will in your experience and thereby bless you. So if you listen and you come up with different answers, it simply means that there is still a little self-will in there. And there's still an investment in finding out that what God says is what you were saying, and therefore God is on your side. And instead of the two of you being on God's side, you see the difference.
oh, I know. It's just hearing.
Yes. So it just means listen again. See, everybody has been conditioned to be, let me put it this way, you have all been conditioned to be a warmongering people. And to be a good and valiant opponent is something to be desired and worked toward. So to have a good struggle and one of you win is something you all tend to bring a great deal of energy to and willingness, you see. And so what we're doing here is breaking this warmongering habit. If a fight breaks out on a schoolyard, a crowd gathers. If a verbal argument breaks out in a shopping mall, everyone gathers around because there's vital energy there, it would seem. And if it goes on long enough, you'll begin to have parts of the crowd cheering for one side and another part of the crowd cheering for the other. And everybody is there not realizing that they are all participants in a spectacle of the valuing of war, the valuing of conflict. Those who don't value conflict would pass on by and not bring their energy to it or the energy of their attention, and maybe some of those who are not warmongering might actually walk up to the two that are in the argument and attempt to make peace. So none of you are free of this, even in your process of awakening and beginning to value peace and value going to a source other than your own best judgments. So, if you both have decided to yield to the Father's point of view, or to yield to the movement of creation that you're in the middle of, and misinterpreting and having an argument about, then you're on the right track. And if you do it and you get different answers, you listen further. And you wait, you don't act until you both are experiencing the appropriateness of this or that step, or this or that action. And when you experience the appropriateness of it, you're glad to yield to it. You're glad to cooperate with it, because you can feel the holiness of it. And who was right or wrong becomes completely irrelevant, because the who that was right or wrong itself has no holiness to it, you see. And so you just have to be willing to persist so that you can get beyond the who issue.
Your map description reminded me of when I was looking at the sign on the road, and Pat was looking at where I was on the map, and we were trying to decide who was right. And I couldn't convince her that the sign at the road was where we were really at, when she was sure that I was at this place on the map. So we can get different answers from different points of view, and
you can't get actual different answers. You can only get, in other words, guidance will not provide you, will not mislead you by providing confusion, the confusion of two different answers. And so if you're getting two different answers, it doesn't mean who's not listening properly, the who issue. It means, oh, let's listen again. Because the process of listening is the process of yielding to something beyond who's right or wrong. And that literally is the way you get out of the warmongering state of mind. I really haven't talked about warmongering states of mind and being having been conditioned to it. You generally believe that you are peaceful people, that you live on a planet that is for the most part peaceful. You go through your day going to work, raising your families, and you feel that you are teaching your children the value of peace, the value of love, and how to behave with harmony as the goal. And yet, if you look at your at the movies in the theaters, if you look at your TV, which says on one of the channels every day, "America at War," and you look at the toys that are sold in the stores, and you look at the video games that are sold, you better realize that there is a constant, exerted effort to teach that violence is nothing to be upset about. Every video game that these children play that has blood and guts spurt forth as they proceed to win the fight causes them to become numb to the fact that blood and guts is devastating, awful, to be avoided at all cost. And as long as you can be numb to the awfulness of harming your brother, then you can be easily encouraged to act in a way that is harmful to your brother and not feel guilt, not feel bad, not hurt yourself. If mankind were suddenly wiped from the planet, wiped out, gone, and beings from other parts of the galaxy came and observed the artifacts and the movies and the videos and everything, they would correctly assume that this was a society that was warmongering. Because whether the countries are at war with each other or not, the education of everyone, by virtue of all of the media and the toys, etc., 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 are the sort of information you would provide to a society of warriors. And the fact that no one is objecting to it allows it to be the standard. Even though it isn't being acted out globally, even though there seems to be basic harmony in most places on the globe. Loving each other, caring about each other, witnessing for each other, all of the things that we're discussing in these gatherings will constitute the undoing of this warmongering mentality. But it means you have to actually change. It means you actually have to get involved, and you have to care enough to say to the companies that produce the video games for the children, stop. And you tell your children, you can't have that video game. Just like I said yesterday to the mother of the child who is into her anorexia, you can't let her have pictures all over her room that give her constant reinforcement of the all rightness of being anorexic. So you have to begin to embody something new that honors the truth about you rather than continuing to honor the mutually agreed upon definitions of life that came down the pike from the Crusades and even before, which honor the warrior. And the element that will break it is love, embodied. Love actually expressed to each other in new ways of behavior. Ways of behavior that you learn about by going beyond your best conditioned thinking and asking the Father, asking your guide, asking, let me just sound very Christian, asking the host who are awake for help in seeing the kingdom of heaven a different way, meaning no longer seeing the kingdom of heaven as just the world, which is the repository of a proud, warmongering civilization. You see? Yes.
Can we be more constructive, more loving in dealing with our one-on-one relationships and extending that to our immediate families? Or can we be more effective in taking the adversarial, which is the wrong word, to be an advocate for shutting down the video games and trying to straighten our government out? And where can we best serve?
Oh, this is a good question for you to take to the Father.
On an individual basis, we can ask, and
Yes.
which is most appropriate. Okay.
I couldn't possibly give a blanket answer, because once you begin to be in committed communion with your guide, it doesn't mean you're going to start holding gatherings. Your being on the beam for you, your fulfilling your purpose will look like something else. But it will be equally transformational and equally valuable. So I cannot give an answer to that question other than take that within as well. And understand that for perhaps 3 or 4 years, you may be engaged in an activity, and then the activity, the identification of fulfillment of purpose for you may change, because that's what fits at that part of the road. So please understand that when you listen for guidance, you're not going to get ultimate, unchangeable answers. You're not going to get ultimate answers that mean you never have to listen again. You see? So that you can relax and not have to risk the chance that there's a God by leaning beyond what you presently know. Okay?
So those of us in relationship asking together may be appropriately extended to more political and social settings, whereas we may be concentrating on our own relationships so that we can understand this giving and taking of the same.
Indeed. Let's put it this way. All I'm talking about is being utterly humane. And it's easy to be humane no matter what the venue is. It's easy for humaneness to be the focus of your attention, whether you're at an evening, at a dinner party, or whether you're at an opera, or whether you are at a political rally, or whether you're in your office, or whether you're speaking to the police officer that just pulled you over because you were speeding. You see, the opportunity to honor humanity and to speak on behalf of humaneness is something that is easy to do all the time if that has become the focus of your attention rather than just continuing to replay the warmongering state of mind. Okay, you are welcome. We will take a break. Hands. The gentleman in the black t-shirt.
I basically have a one-word question. Ouch. It's been rough. I wonder if you can help me out a little bit.
Well, I will have to put it this way. It hasn't been rough because you have been at odds with your fulfillment. It has been rough because you are being called upon you're being called upon to be the answer. And this is something you cannot run away from, which means that you have to care enough to persist in consciously, committedly listening. Consciously choosing not to honor and respond to the instinctive gut level state of reaction that the circumstances seem to call for. That honoring that will not allow you to be the answer. You are literally faced with just a moment. You are constantly being faced with the call, again, to be the answer, and it's not your fault that you are the one who is being called upon to be the answer. Very simply, no matter how rugged it gets, know that it is your task to persist in being the presence that will, in effect, pull all of you through. Accept it. If you want to put it this way, shoulder the responsibility. Don't grouse about it. And open up with a confidence that there is something to open up to.